Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, and today it's mailbag video number 2. Did not get to all of your mailbag questions in the video we did yesterday, I think on Saturday. Now we're going to answer the rest of them here on a Sunday edition of the Eagle mailbag video. So let's go ahead and jump right in to some of your guys' questions. Dylan Duncan asks, what seed do you think the Eagles will get this year? Wow, we're getting really ahead of ourselves, but you know what? I went ahead and put together my NFC playoff projection early edition. It's early, so don't come back, in November and be like, Thomas said that this team was going to be there back in, May? It's a little early, but I guess you wanted a prediction. Here it is. The full NFC playoff picture will be Bucs as the 1 seed. I truly believe in Tom Brady. I really believe in what they're doing there. They have the best wide receiver core, in my opinion, in the National Football League. They're going to be good. Brady in warm weather. Look out. They win the NFC South, and they get the number 1 overall seed. San Francisco is the 2 seed only because their schedule is hard. I predicted, 11 wins for San Francisco this year. That will still win the NFC West and will still put them as the 2 seed, but they will not win 13 football games because of just how hard their schedule is. Philadelphia wins the East. I think that they are number 3, but you could put them at number 4 if the Vikings have a better year. Depends on if the NFC East is easier or the NFC North is easier. I think the NFC East will be an easier overall division. That's why I have Philadelphia at number 3, right about 10 wins, and then the Vikings winning the NFC North there at the 4 seed. Remember, 3 wildcard spots right now. So I have the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Saints coming in there as the 7th seed. I think those are going to be your 7 playoff teams. You can mix them and move them around in terms of where they're going to be seated, but I don't see any other team sneaking into the NFC playoff picture. I think Philadelphia will win the division. Just a matter of will they be the 2 seed or the 3 seed the 3 seed or the 4 seed, because I think the Bucs and the Niners are the 2 best teams right now in the NFC. Question for you guys here. It's early, but go ahead and answer it. We're having fun, right? Which seed will the Eagles get in the postseason if they make it there in 2020? Let me know in the comment section down below. Moving on, next question here. Bolo asked, do you think Josh Sweat and Jannard Avery will be good backup role players behind Graham and Barnett? I say Sweat and Avery both have 4 to 5 sacks this year. I think that's the hope and the expectation. Philadelphia didn't do much on the defensive line front this draft. They, of course, added Javon Hargrave, the D tackle, but they do need Sweat and Avery to play a lot of snaps because, one, Derek Barnett has been a little bit up and down, a little inconsistent, and Brandon Graham's like 34 years old. So the hope is that Josh Sweat could go from 4 sacks this past year to 6 sacks this year, and then Avery, of course, who was a trade guy kind of in the middle part of the year, can figure out how to play defensive end and get some more sacks there as well. I think both of them will be fine backups. Don't expect anything special. People, whenever we traded for Jannard Avery, people were freaking out like, oh my gosh, a pass rusher, and yet he's very unproven, very raw, and has a long way to go in terms of rushing the passer. So I think what Josh Sweat did last year, 21 tackles and 4 sacks, is probably what to be expected from Avery, and then you hope Sweat kind of bump that up there in year 3 on that Eagles defensive line. Okay, who will lead the Eagles? In your opinion, who will lead the Eagles in sacks in 2020? Overall sacks, who will it be? Will it be Barnett? Will it be Cox? Will it be Hargrave? Will it be Jackson or someone else? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Moving on, next question here comes from Jose Torres, who asked, do you think this is Arcega-Whiteside, I guess, will have a 600-yard season, and the Eagles need to add a veteran D-end and running back, I guess, for true contention in the NFC. A lot of questions here. I want to focus on JJ because I already answered the D-end and the veteran running back stuff in a mailbag video yesterday. Listen, I think he probably will have 600 yards, but don't count on it because last year he only had 22 targets, and he caught half of them. His catch percentage is not that great, and he looked like just a fish out of water playing wide receiver, even when he needed to step up when all the other wide receivers, including Alshon Jeffrey, got injured. So hopefully it's better than what he did in 2019. But remember, the Eagles added Jalen Reagor, and they added Marquise Goodwin, and John Hightower, and Quez Watkins, and they even will have a healthy, hopefully, Alshon Jeffrey and DeSean Jackson and Zach Ertz. So he's kind of down there on the receiving core list. So I don't see him actually balling out of his mind, but the stats will be better. I think about 45 catches, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, and about 10.0 yards per catch. That, to me, is my expectation for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Not bad, but doubling what he did from last year, but still not great because what he did last year was not good overall. I like what the Eagles have done at wide receiver. It's definitely better than where it was last year. And if you agree with me that you like the Eagles wide receiver core, give this video a thumbs up. Just click the thumbs up video. If you like the Eagles in general, then click the thumbs up. But if you like the Eagles receiver core, kind of gauge you guys based on the thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up down below. And you should also give a thumbs up because Carson Wentz's jersey is 20% off. And if you're one of those people like myself who has not gotten a Carson Wentz jersey yet, then pick one up right now because it's only $75. It's 25% off at chatsports.com/Wentz, the place to go ahead and get it. Link is down below. Link is in the description. It's down below me somewhere on the screen over here. Chatsports.com/Wentz, 25% off, which is $25. $100, 25%, $75. Authentic Carson Wentz jersey. Jump on that deal right now. Let's see. Supreme Banana asks, who will be the number one wide receiver on the Eagles? DeSean Jackson. I think it's easy. I think DeSean Jackson, when healthy, will be the number one wide receiver in Philadelphia going into the 2020 season. He balled out week 1 against the Washington Redskins. You take those stats and throw them all out in terms of expand them for 17-game season, and he's going to be like a 1,000-yard receiver in 10 touchdowns and 15 touchdowns, whatever it is. He's going to be great. If he can stay healthy, he will be the number one wide receiver. Andre Warner asked, if the Eagles make the Super Bowl, who is the biggest threat in the AFC? Also, if they only make it to the NFC title game, who is their biggest threat in the NFC? Okay, so here are my top 4 teams in the AFC. Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, Broncos. Yes, Steelers and Broncos are flying under the radar. Big Ben Roethlisberger is healthy. Mike Tomlin is an elite head coach. And Denver had one of the best off seasons of anybody. And I think Drew Lock is about to start clicking. The defense is great. They have good young linebackers. They have good pass rushers. And they now have great running backs and wide receivers. I think Denver is going to be very good in the AFC. Probably a wild card team. Buffalo not shown here, but Buffalo is going to be in there as well. They're probably going to win the AFC East. In the NFC, it's more teams, but I'll give you 4. Bucks, Vikings, Niners, Seahawks are really good right now in the NFC. The Saints are going to be fine. The Falcons will be a little bit better. The Cardinals will be dangerous. The Cowboys will win some football games. The NFC is very loaded, but my top 4 teams in the NFC, not named Philadelphia, because the Eagles, to me, would be ahead of the Seahawks. Bucks, Vikings, 49ers, and Seahawks. Okay, you guys like the Eagles? Then go ahead and prove it and go ahead and subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles now because we're approaching 11,000 subs here and we're like one of the fastest growing Eagle channels on YouTube. So jump on the bandwagon right now by subscribing to Philadelphia Eagles now. We would greatly appreciate it. We've had 10,000 subs in a couple of months and that is not lost on me. That's crazy. I rep the Eagles and then wear this shirt for you guys and I appreciate each and every one of you who join me on these videos on a daily basis. Okay, me told time for one more. Huntley Gracie asked, what do you think Boston Scott's stats will be /role? So, I said this in a video a couple days ago. He will be probably running back number 2 or 3. I think it'll be obviously Sanders 1, and then they'll mix in Scott and Corey Clement, and whoever plays better will get more reps. Now, last year, 61 carries, 245 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's not going to go buck wild and have 250 touches. He's going to have about 100 carries, about 130 touches, because he's receiving the football as well, 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, and probably average 4.3 yards per carry. That's my projection right now for Boston Scott, which honestly is pretty good and would be great, in my opinion, for a guy who was a practice squad player, who worked his way onto the football field, and became the true number 1 starter towards the latter part of the season whenever Miles Sanders went down, and then Sanders came back, and they mixed him in. So I think, yeah, he's going to be good. He's going to have a role. He's not going to be this breakout superstar, best running back on the Eagles. That's for Miles Sanders to do, but I think he'll be probably running back 2A or 2B right there with Corey Clement, because you can't disrespect Corey Clement, because you go back and watch the Super Bowl highlights, Super Bowl 52, Clement was a major part of winning that football game. I think about that 3rd down late in the first half to get the ball into the red zone, eventually leading to the Philly special. It was a big catch and run, a great throw by Nick Foles, and a big catch and run by Corey Clement, who essentially got the Eagles that lead that they were able to eventually hold on and win the Super Bowl and Super Bowl 52. Okay, running out of time for one more. Erupt Struck 1 asked, can the Eagles still win the NFC East despite Dallas having Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup? Yes, why would CeeDee Lamb be suddenly the big difference maker in Dallas? Now, Dallas made some good moves this offseason, but CeeDee Lamb does not suddenly make the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl contenders, despite what many Cowboy fans will tell you. And trust me, as we know, they will tell you that right now the Cowboys have the best roster in the NFC. They're crazy, okay? The Cowboys and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper could not beat the Eagles without any of their wide receivers and quarterbacks playing legitimately at wide receiver, and a guy like Greg Ward. Boston Scott was in there. Remember, the Eagles won the division last year despite all of their injuries. Dallas had a chance to do it later on in the year, lost to Philadelphia. The rest is history. So, no, I think the Eagles obviously still have a chance to win the NFC East, and I think they're the favorites in the NFC East. Now, If you look at notable additions, in terms of the best addition this offseason by each team did get better. Yes, CeeDee Lamb does make the Cowboys better. He doesn't make them Super Bowl contenders, but he makes them better. The Eagles got Darius Slay. That instantly helps the whole Amari Cooper problem. The Redskins got Chase Young, and the Giants got Blake Martinez. All of the NFC East teams got better this year, but I think Philadelphia had the better roster, the better head coach, the better fans, the better stadium, the better city overall, which is why I would still leave them as my number one team in the NFC East. So there you go. All time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. If you're sad I didn't get to your question, then here's the deal. We had so many questions, I had to break this into 2 videos, and even then, I could not get to every single question. So it seems like we're going to do these on a weekend basis. So once a week, we're going to do 1 or 2 mailbag questions. So stay tuned for our next mailbag video where your question could be answered. As long as it's good, I'll probably pull it. If it's bad, guess what? I'm probably going to skip it. So make it a good question whenever we do this later on next week. So all time we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I am Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.